All right, so today we're going to take a look at something pretty interesting. I think
Yeah.
it's the Amazon product page for this book called Fearless,
Okay.
which is the third book in this series called the Powerless Trilogy.
Right.
It's written by an author named Lauren Roberts,
Hmm.
and the release date for this book is April 8th, 2025. So it's still a little bit in the future.
Coming soon?
So this is a pre-release, kind of a deep dive into this product page.
Yeah.
And I think it's really fascinating because we get to see how this book is being marketed
Right.
and what the publisher is trying to emphasize in order to get people to click that pre-order button.
Absolutely. And pre-release marketing is a whole art in itself.
It is, yeah.
You have to build anticipation without giving too much away.
Right. And I think that's the challenge here
Yeah.
because you don't want to spoil the ending for people who have already read the first two books in the
The
series,
core.
but you also want to pique their interest enough to make them want to buy this third book.
Yeah. You've got to make them feel like they need to know what happens next.
Yes, exactly. So it's a very delicate balancing act.
It is. And these product pages, there's so much more than just a place to buy the books.
Right.
They're really like a window into the entire publishing strategy.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be fun to break this one down and see what we can learn.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, right?
Yeah.
We see right at the top that this is the third book in the Powerless Trilogy.
A grand finale.
A grand finale,
Yeah,
right?
the culmination.
So presumably there are some readers out there who are already familiar with these characters
Oh, definitely.
and this world from having read the first two books, which are Powerless
Yes.
and then Reckless.
Right.
And now we're on to Fearless.
Makes you wonder what kind of progression we'll see in this story.
Yeah, well, let's see what the genre tells us.
Okay.
So we've got teen and young adult fantasy romance.
Pretty standard for YA these days.
Yeah, but then they draw these very specific comparisons to Sarah J. Maas
Interesting.
and the Red Queen.
Okay, yeah, now those are some big names in the genre.
They are, and I think those comparisons are very deliberate.
Oh, for sure.
Right, they're trying to evoke a certain kind of feel, a certain kind of tone.
That's like a shorthand way of telling readers what to expect.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, if you're familiar with those authors and you enjoyed their books,
Yeah.
chances are you might enjoy this one too.
And it also gives you a sense of the target audience,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're talking about readers who enjoy strong female leads,
Right.
intricate world building,
Lots of romance.
probably some political intrigue thrown in there as well.
Absolutely.
Because, both Maz and the Red Queen series, they're known for that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And then if we dig a little deeper into the bestseller rankings,
Ooh, this is where it gets interesting.
we see that Fearless
Mm-hmm.
and presumably the earlier books in the trilogy as well
Yeah.
are listed as #1 bestsellers, not just in teen and young adult fantasy romance,
Right.
but also in teen and young adult dark fantasy
Okay, that's a bit of a twist.
and teen and young adult sword and sorcery fantasy.
Now, that tells more nuanced story.
It does. So what does that suggest to you?
Well, the dark fantasy label implies that there's more to this series than just a fluffy romance.
Right.
There are probably darker themes at play,
Okay.
maybe some moral ambiguity, some
Wow.
morally gray characters.
Yeah.
And the stakes are likely pretty high.
Okay.
And then the sword and sorcery tag
Yeah.
hints at a more traditional fantasy setting,
Right.
maybe with magic systems,
Yeah.
mythical creatures,
Mm-hmm.
even a medieval-esque world.
Right, even if those details aren't explicitly mentioned in the plot summary.
Exactly. It's just a little flavor to entice readers.
So it's like they're trying to appeal to a wider range of fantasy fans.
Absolutely. It's like casting a wider net.
Okay, now let's get to the juicy stuff,
The plot.
the plot teasers. And they give us just a little taste.
A more...
Yeah, right. And it says Peyton and Kai are reunited but face a terrible decision that will determine their fate and the fate of those around them forever.
Oof, that's heavy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
talk about high stakes, right?
Talk about pressure.
So who are Peyton and Kai?
Well, presumably they're the central characters,
Okay,
the protagonists.
right. And we can assume that they've been separated for some time.
Right. Perhaps by circumstance or choice.
Right, and now they're back together.
But it sounds like their reunion is far from happy.
No, it doesn't sound very joyful at all.
No, because they're immediately confronted with this terrible decision.
Right, and not just any decision. This decision has far-reaching consequences.
Exactly. It's not just about them anymore.
Hmm.
The fate of others depends on their choice.
And then they use this phrase, life-altering choice.
Oh, yeah. That really underscores the weight of their dilemma.
It does. It suggests that there's no going back.
Right. Whatever they choose is going to have irreversible repercussions.
And then they throw in this line about An ultimate battle of love and loyalty.
Oh, cool.
So classic.
It's a staple of romantic fantasy.
It is, and it immediately makes you wonder,
What will they choose?
right, like what kind of impossible choices are they facing?
Right. Will their love be strong enough to survive this challenge?
Right. Or will their loyalties to others force them apart?
It's a recipe for drama and heartache,
Absolutely.
but also for some really compelling storytelling.
Okay, so let's move on to the more tangible details for a minute.
Sure.
The publication information.
The nuts and bolts.
Yeah, we see that this is a hardcover book.
A hefty one.
Yeah, it's 608 pages.
Oh, wow. That's a substantial read.
It is. So what does that tell you?
Well, a high page count
Yeah.
often suggests a complex and detailed narrative.
Right.
It means there's room for intricate world building, multiple character perspectives,
Yeah.
Lots of different plot threads that need to be woven together
And resolved.
and resolved by the end.
Right.
So it's not a quick read.
No.
It's a commitment.
And the publisher is Simon & Schuster Books for young readers.
Oh, they're a big player in the YA market.
They are, yeah.
So that suggests a certain level of quality and editorial oversight.
Right, they're not just some fly-by-night operation.
Exactly. They've got a reputation to uphold.
And then we have the publication date itself, April 8th, 2025.
Okay, so just over a year away.
So readers have a specific date to mark on their calendars.
Something to look forward to.
And just to clarify for those who might be wondering about the target audience,
Yeah.
the page specifies grades 9 through 12
Right.
and a reading age of 14 and up.
Okay, so firmly in that young adult sweet spot.
Exactly. And then they also list the physical dimensions of the book and the ISBN numbers.
Oh, the ISBN, that's important.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, it's like a unique identifier for this specific edition of the book.
Okay.
It's like a fingerprint.
Okay.
And it allows bookstores, libraries, online retailers to track inventory managed sales data.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're getting the right version.
Right.
So, yeah, it's essential for the whole publishing ecosystem.
And the physical dimensions, I guess that's just for practical purposes.
Yeah, if you want to know how much shelf space it'll take up.
Right.
Or how easy it'll be to carry around.
Okay, now let's talk money.
The financial side of things.
Because the hardcover is listed at a pre-order price of $16.27,
Okay.
which is a decent discount from the list price of $21.99.
Ah, so they're incentivizing those pre-orders.
They are. Why do you think they're doing that?
Well, it's a classic marketing strategy.
Okay.
It creates a sense of regency.
Okay.
If you pre-order now, you save money.
Mm-hmm.
And it also helps boost the book's visibility on those bestseller lists.
Right.
Because those early pre-orders count towards the book's overall sales figures.
I see.
So it's a win-win for the publisher and for the eager readers who want to snag a deal.
And they're not just offering the hardcover. They've also got a Kindle version available for $12.99.
Right. So catering to those digital readers.
And the audiobook is listed as free.
Really?
With an Audible membership trial. So they're really trying to make this book accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. They're covering all their bases.
Yeah, and then they lay out all the shipping options.
Of course.
Free delivery on orders over a certain amount.
Right.
And even release day delivery.
Right. So you can get it on the day it comes out.
Yes, exactly.
No waiting around.
And they mention the standard 30-day refund or replacement policy.
So no risk involved.
Exactly. It's all about convenience and making that purchase as smooth and easy as possible.
Like a well-oiled machine.
It is. Okay. Let's turn our attention to the author for a moment.
Right.
Lauren Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And the bio gives us a little glimpse into who she is.
Right.
We learn that Powerless was her debut novel.
Oh, so this trilogy is a significant part of her career.
Yeah, it is.
It's like her baby.
It is. And she says that she enjoys writing about fantasy worlds and bantering love interests.
Oh, that fits perfectly with what we've gathered about the book so far.
Yeah, it does. And then she lists some of her hobbies, which include knitting, laser tag, hammocking, word searches, and coloring.
Okay, that's an interesting mix.
It is, right? It's like a combination of grandma and a child.
Yeah. It's kind of endearing, though.
It is. It makes her seem more relatable.
Right, like a real person.
Yeah, and not just some faceless author.
And then she also mentions her TikTok and Instagram handles.
Yes, at Lauren Roberts Library.
Right.
So for those who want to connect with her directly.
Social media is so crucial for authors these days.
Especially in the YA space.
Yeah. It's a way to build a community, engage with readers,
Right.
share updates.
And build excitement for upcoming releases.
Exactly.
Okay, now the product page also gives us some hints about what other books might appeal to readers of Fearless.
Oh, the recommendations.
Yeah, so in the frequently bought together section, they list the other two books in the trilogy,
Makes sense.
which suggests that most readers are probably buying the entire series.
Right, they're invested in the story.
Yeah, and then there's this interesting edition
No.
called A Powerless Story.
Okay, I remember what that is.
Maybe it's like a novella or companion story.
Yeah, maybe it fills in some gaps between the main installments.
Right? Or provides a different perspective.
That's a clever way to keep readers engaged.
It is. And then we have the more items to explore section.
Ah, so these are recommendations based on other readers' purchasing habits.
Yes, exactly.
It's like Amazon's way of saying, hey, if you like this, you might also like these.
And they list some other popular YA fantasy novels,
Like what?
like books from the Shatter Me series and the Empyrean series.
Okay, yeah, those are some big names in the genre.
They are. And I think these recommendations are pretty spot on.
Yeah, they're definitely targeting readers who enjoy similar themes and tropes.
Okay, now one thing that's notably absent at this pre-release stage
What's that?
is customer reviews.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which is to be expected, right?
Right. The book hasn't even been released yet.
But I do find it interesting that there's this prominent button that says, review this product.
Oh, so they're ready and waiting for those reviews to start pouring in.
They are, and I wonder how much weight those early reviews will carry.
Oh, I think they'll be crucial.
Yeah.
Especially for a book like this, it's part of a series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will be looking to see if it lives up to the hype.
Right, and if it provides a satisfying conclusion.
Exactly.
Okay, but there is one little piece of pre-release commentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a short video titled An Epic Conclusion or a Bit of a Letdown. It's from a channel called 1 Minute Book Reviews.
Okay, so they've got some early access to the book.
Apparently, and we don't know what their verdict is.
Right.
But the title alone is enough to pique your curiosity.
Oh, absolutely. It plays on that anticipation and anxiety that fans often feel.
Yeah.
Leading up to a series finale.
Exactly. It's like
Right.
they're acknowledging the high stakes.
And the pressure to deliver a satisfying ending.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a clever marketing tactic.
Yeah. It is. So as we wrap up this deep dive into this single Amazon product page, what are your key takeaways?
Well, it's clear that Fearless is being positioned as a major event
Right.
in the YA fantasy romance world.
Yeah.
They're pulling at all the stops.
They are.
The genre, the plot teaser,
The comparisons to other successful authors,
the bestseller tags,
the author's social media presence,
the pre-order incentives.
even that little snippet of a pre-release review.
Yeah, it's all very carefully calculated.
It is, and it's all designed to generate excitement.
And drive pre-orders.
Right. So this isn't just a product page.
No.
It's a marketing masterpiece.
It is.
And it shows how much effort goes into launching a book these days.
Especially a book that's part of a popular series.
Exactly.
There's a lot riding on this finale.
There is.
And they want to make sure it's a success.
So for you, the listener,
Yeah.
as you contemplate this terrible decision and this ultimate battle of love and loyalty, what kind of sacrifices do you think these characters might be forced to make?
Ooh.
And how much does this kind of pre-release information, this carefully constructed marketing campaign,
Yeah.
influence your own reading choices?
It's something to think about.
It is, and we'll have to wait until April 8th, 2025 to find out what happens.
I can't wait.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.